Alright, hello. We're going to go ahead and start the Magneto helmet, Pepakura file helmet thing. Go ahead and try and find it through the web. I had to Google for a really long time until I found the file, the PDO file for it. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description box below on which version I used. I used to have a Pepakura Viewer 3, but you'd have to pay for it if you wanted to like resize it and stuff. But I found that you could do, which is also a freeware, there's a Pepakura Designer 3, and that one will also let you modify it if you find out that the size is too big or small. It lets you scale it down, although you can't save it, so you gotta try and get it right on the first couple tries, or you're just wasting a lot of cardstock. But so yeah, so right now I already printed out all the pages, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut. And the bad thing about this file is that it is not numbered, which really sucks, because when I did the shredder costume, all the pieces were numbered and it was really easy to put together. So I'm figuring I'm gonna have to just sit here and click on each file, each page in the Pepakura Viewer to find out what piece goes to what. So that's gonna be kind of a pain in the ass, but it's what I gotta do. So we'll go ahead and just cut and fold and glue for like a really long time. I'll try and figure this out, and then once that's done, then go ahead and move on to the next step. All right, thanks, bye. Alright, so just a real quick thing on how I'm doing this, since it's not numbered. I just wanted to get something a little more specific and to help anybody who might be very confused by this, especially if they don't have a numbered file. So basically when I printed them out, as they printed out in order on my paper, I numbered them 1 through, in this case I had 11 pages, okay? Now, as you can see here, as I was mentioning in that one picture, to do them by the connection points, I cut this piece out, and see how when I put my the cursor over it, how it tells you that this piece connects to this piece. So I know that on page 3 and on page 4, I'm going to cut out this cylinder and this cylinder piece here, and those go in together here. And then when I know that when I click on this one, if I'm not sure what part that is, it tells me on this part which part that it is. So basically, you know, just keep, if you don't know what part goes to what, it'll tell you in here. So you have to just kind of do it. And you like, so right now where I'm at, just so you can get a quick, I already did this part. So I am down to, not that part, I am right here. So when I click on it, it tells me that this is going to be on page 10. So I need to skip all the way to the page 10 that I printed out. And I know that this part right here is going to be on my page 10. And then it tells me where it connects to. And I know it's something on page 7. So that's pretty much how I'm going. It's kind of a slow process, but if you do it slowly like this, you won't get confused. Just keep moving around the form here and clicking on each piece and see the corresponding ones, and it should guide you pretty easily. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start the fiberglass resin step. Here's some things that you'll need. Definitely you'll want a table or some kind of surface that you don't care if it gets all jacked up. And I also cover my workspace in aluminum. Why aluminum versus newspaper is just because if the resin gets on newspaper, it seeps to the table, and then when it dries, it gets stuck to it. So your table will be all full of like paper residue and glue. It's not cool, and it doesn't really seem to get stuck to aluminum. It's just a much easier way to line your workspace and then just crumble it all up when you're done. I really recommend that way, and a lot of people do it that way too. I'm using an old pie plate to mix my resin right now. I'll probably cut this in half and use this to stir my resin. Also, you're gonna want fiberglass resin liquid along with the hardener. Now when you pour it in, I recommend about 6 to 7 drops of that stuff once you pour in your fiberglass resin. I wouldn't do like the whole thing at once. You want to do it in little amounts because you don't want to waste so much product in here that it starts to harden before you get it on your helmet. And also you're going to want, these are like those 99-cent brushes. I recommend these and then just toss them out because I've tried to use the foam ones before that you get in like packs of 10 at like the dollar store, but because of the chemicals in the fiberglass, after a few seconds it starts to eat the foam up and you're just left with like this soft cakey mess that the resin has just started to devour and break apart the foam. So it's really just a waste of time and money. This will be much better. It won't, you know, and then you can also still clean it too with like paint thinner if you want to keep the brush. I bought like 4 of them, so I really don't plan on washing them. I'm just gonna throw them out. So we're gonna do a coat on the outside and a coat on the inside of the resin. And another thing to make note of, if you're doing a helmet and it like, see, for some reason when I made the helmet, it bowed out a little bit. So right now I'm gonna just get some more paper or cardstock and I'm just gonna glue like, I guess you call it like a stint to keep it in shape, because it'll get worse. In my experience, it'll get worse if once the fiberglass resin dries inside, the bowing will be a lot worse, and at that point you can't fix it anymore. So it's best to fix anything that's a little crooked now before you put on the resin, and definitely before you put that fiberglass, because the fiberglass, there's no going back after that. So make sure you have your respirator, definitely some type of protective glove, and let's get to it. Okay, so I just did the first coat. I did it on the inside and outside. I was able to do it like that. So right now I just have it resting on a punching bag guy. And of course I wrapped the head in foil because I don't want the resin to, I don't know what the hell it's gonna do to whatever latex or plastic that is. So it's just for protection. It'll dry and it'll keep the shape. I have the tape over it, so that'll be good. So I'll have to leave it, you let it dry at this point for about 24 hours before you come back and do your second coat of resin. I'll check it out to see if it needs a second coat or not. I'm not too sure yet how it's gonna be. If it does, I'll do it. If not, then we'll move on to the Bondo phase, and then yeah.